All right, my friends, here we are. This is the Graduate Show. I think today is going to be kind of short. We only had 17 this week. Sometimes we have an immense amount. 17 is a little bit more manageable, but that'll give us some time to go through it. And as you can see, besides our last contender, Hearts of Fire, everyone else has done epic amounts of work here, and that's in general what it's going to take to graduate. Like if you're doing the program, the higher you get, the more work you're going to have to do. And what you see that number there, that's just the dojo points. So that is the amount of work done to make it from, let's say in this case, from 1500 to 1600. Okay, I usually start at the bottom, but I think I'll start at the top just because we have less people, so I won't be so exhausted that I'll not have time for the last person. Here is Carl Us. And Carl Us must have graduated like last week too. And he's using the ChessCom, but as you can see, also has the English Chess Federation going on. He's got his tactics ratings kind of around where you might expect it to be. And has done a little games and analysis, some opening. All right, so let me just go over here. So he's not logging his hours, but you can see he is logging his points over here. One thing that is, we just launched this whole weekly training program, and I really like it. One thing there's a little controversy over, High Pepper Chess, is what should the default time be? So, you can set it for whatever you want, but the default time I feel like is a psychological thing, and also like a lot of people just won't know to change it. So for example, with Carl, he isn't logging the hours, so it's going to be X's for all the weeks already. But if dude, let's say just based on this, he wanted to do 3 hours a week, well, maybe he's kind of close for doing it maybe on this week. On this particular week, maybe he would have managed it, for example. Anyways, that's something we're debating. I kind of think it should be less than an hour, but there's also reasons to have it default to be an hour. Okay, Carl, are you in the English club? You got to put yourself in the English club, bud. All right. Carl's been with us for a long time, maybe left us and came back. That's possible. We have some people like that. Let's see if we got a game from Carl. And we do. And this is going to be an OTB, played fairly recently. No time graph? Again, you can, I say this every time, it must get boring, but you can put in the times yourself. All right, here we go. Ye Old London. Knight BD7 is a little weird. This is intended to support a C5 break after an effort to trade off the bishops, but it's the wrong move order already. Good, I think that's fair. Now, by the way, you're not going to be toast or anything with this move, but it is a little weird. The knight is less active on B7. Knight B2, okay, I'm okay with that. And knight E5 is a little controversial, but probably okay. Yeah, we don't want to take on E5. So castles. C5, this is a mistake. The reason this is a mistake is there's a standard trick here now with knight F7 and bishop D6. So C3, opponent misses it. C4. My fear thinking about this is that all my pieces are so ensnarled already that allowing white a smooth completion of development could lead to bad things early. I definitely think he gave you a reasonable chance here, and you should play queen C7. You develop, you threaten something, and you protect your bishops. You don't have to worry about knight F7 anymore. Okay, there comes queen C7. All right, and now knight DF3. I think you're doing fine. You should play B5 immediately, but you play A6. No, just go. Just go. You got to go, son. There's no more messing around for it. He's going to come at you, and you're going to come at him, and whoever is faster is going to be the genius. This is a poor move. Knight takes D7. It's a hard position, honestly, for white to play, I feel. For me, it's already super spicy. I want to stress that. And the big question is, can he do G4, G5 to you? That's the big question. Even kind of like H4, H5 would also be a thing. At some point, maybe you can play knight E4. All right, so he releases the tension. And you could take back with the knight or the bishop. They both look fine to me. Then the knight's arguably safer, but that can be wrong. Safer because there's no knight E5. Okay, B5. Notice you just lost the tempo with A6. Queen F3, rook A, B8. Too slow. Just hit him. If you want to hit him, hit him. A5, good. A3, I don't know. And now you should hit him. Good. Okay, now we have ourselves an interesting position. This is a mistake by white, contra to its otherwise fairly free and breezy development. I like the phrase free and breezy. It's a little bit of a hard, but you're doing some nice pressure, and your opponent has to kind of figure it out here. It's a good question about what we think he should do. If you don't like a move, tell us what you think he should do. And I think Queen H3 would be for me, the most interesting. Intending like maybe knight D7, bishop G5 kind of stuff. Okay, so rook FB1. I think this is okay. It's got to be okay because you're pushing the bishop away. And now I like rook A8. Knight E4. Well, probably okay too. Fine, knight E4. And now rook A8. Okay. A little slow. All right, here we go. Knight D7. Exchange. And this is snarled, but basically equal, I think, with a lot of ways at this level that the game could be won, lost, or drawn. What I want you to see here is, one, you lost a lot of time by this, but also like F3 is going to come for your opponent. So you should likely take back with the knight. And a big opportunity that you're missing here is if we give white time, then he would like to double over here. And that can happen in, say, this position that we get in the game. So like rook A3 here, followed by rook A1. And your knight's funny, right? What's your knight doing? Whereas in this position, you just play rook A8. I think that's pretty annoying for black because not only can they not double, but someday I'm going to land this puppy right here. Okay. Also here, you could have done it in this position. You could have also done it here. The thing is, this F3 move is hitting you anyway. So that's why knight E4 looks great, but maybe it's not so special. Okay, so we got this position. Queen F2. Rook A3 was better. E5. Okay, I kind of like that. It's interesting anyway. He goes Queen G3. And now you do this. Now this is making me real nervous because we aren't addressing the issues. The issues. Now he plays H4. That's no good. The knight is good here. The knight's poor here, and at least it will do something like protect the queen here. The move that would frighten me now is something like rook A5. Right? That kind of scares me. Also, there might be just a basic tactical issue with pawn takes, and we can't take back with a pawn, and however we recapture, I'm concerned with F4. Hi, Faugra. He's watching the stream on the boss's time. Nice. But I'm the boss. F4, I don't like it. All right, here we go. Boom, boom. Okay. Boom. Oh, Queen E6. You're right. Feels like a good initiative to me. White's rooks can't come quickly to defend, and I'm in a better position to attack than white. Okay. It's a spicy situation, honestly. All right, let's look. I can't evaluate it, honestly, because this bishop is now very strong. G5 looks unreasonable. It looks like you're asking too much. Queen G3, good move. Was it that simple for you to win the pawn? I guess. Here we go. Rook E4. Stupid miscalculation that drops the exchange. But, okay, Queen F4 doesn't do it. Basically, you know, you have a real problem with the D5 pawn. Right? You guys just got a real problem with the D5 pawn. Yeah. I guess Queen E6, though, is like L main question. I think you're in trouble here, honestly. Okay, so snip, snop. There are some arguments for queen. Well, there are some arguments. They're not good. There's some arguments for Queen E4. Because here I'm worried all your coconuts are going to fall apart here. All right. Rook F1. Maybe. Rook A6 looks good. He's got a lot of nice moves here. Then you do this. I don't understand that move. Looks poor. You give him a dirty check. I don't know how dirty it is. You're trying to activate. Okay. I'm not sure I get Rook F2. So, H5. Good. It's at least a good try. And he plays Rook H1. I don't know. You know, maybe. I like Rook E2. Rook E2, there it is. Check to the miserable king. And now can he take it? Yeah. So this is one of the things just to see about this position is you're really loose in this coming endgame, right? You're very loose. Queen E4, you're probably also toast. And one of the things I just want to say is you're doing fine here, and that would have been stronger. And I'll admit, I didn't appreciate myself how strong Queen F4 would be. The issue is with Queen F4 is that he's defending your best piece. So if we imagine something like ED and then activating our knight, we have, at the minimum, good play in this position. Yeah. Okay, so. All right, here we go. Let's mark this as reviewed. We did. Boom. And now we're going to go check out Dryfo. Dryfo has something to say here. Hi, Jesse and Grad Show viewers. I won't be watching live, but eagerly view the VOD afterward and study the analysis Jesse provides. Please review my most recent game with specific focus on how to convert winning position and especially the bishops and pawn ending, in which I was struggling to understand the position and plans. My plans and goals for the next level are listed on my profile, but I basically anticipate staying at this cohort for quite a while and build up core forward fundamentals as a relative newcomer to chess. Well, it's great that you're already up to 1100 as a newcomer. I've appreciated the constant updates to the system, such as the user interface. It's great to know the team is working hard to constantly improve the dojo. It's getting better and better. One suggestion request is for more tactics tests or more tactics practice with no score involved. I'm starting to use the tactics test for tactics training as the interface is fantastic. I would love a collection of curated positions for each rating range to practice with without having it tied to some tactics score I can't update with future attempts. So I will say, let's just talk about dojo plans. Right now, okay, the main thing the senseis are doing is working on 4.0. So that's 3 years of the Dojo Training Program. And we're updating the tasks. We do really kind of a deep dive, and we have so many meetings still to do, and yada, yada. We'll hopefully get that done before May 1st, but we launch that on May 1st. May 1st is not that far away. And then after that, our intention with the dev team is to revitalize our tactics interface. And that is something that will also generate more problems. We have a whole philosophy of how we're going to roll it out. Anyways, that was a long speech, Dryfo. Here we go. All right, so British something living in Vietnam. Look at that. Dude, look at his heat map. What a heat map, man. That is fantastic. Look at that thing. So, now, one of the things he's just into this new cohort, so he hasn't done too much probably, but you can see here the tactics in the opening. The opening, there's not that many things for him actually to do, so it's not that big of a thing. But we're going to hope that he has a game for us to look at. There's his tactics test. Now, one of the things that I kind of heard from him was the depression about the tactics test. So like, Bose, what have you done to me? I know I'm tied to this score and it's so terrible. So you will, unless you're out of tactics tests, you have the ability, to take more. And it's, at the moment, it's the average of your last 3 tests. So 30 problems, basically. But we're going to, like I said, we're going to revitalize that. It's going to take a while, kind of like this whole UI thing. It's taken a while, and we're also just dealing with the feedback that a lot of people are saying. It's kind of, we're considering this a soft rollout, honestly, and then we're going to try to make it more public right around 4.0. Okay, so he wants to look at the most recent game, and I recognize that icy name. It's a 30 plus 30. First, let's look at the clock. Okay. So we'll say that's a pretty reasonable time graph. Something we saw in yesterday's show, and we often see, is that they got to maybe an end game. We'll see what it's like. But then people stopped thinking once they got to the end game. So if it's true what he's saying about the pawns and the bishops and the plans, the most important thing will be time usage, because neither player was thinking once we got to the end game. Okay, put a lot of energy into this. Noting the clock use, both players use their clock perfectly here, so my opponent took the game seriously. Well, we'll see. I don't know. We're going to see about move 38. We'll come back to the clock graph on move 38. All right, here we go. All right. Boom. 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 And then a pure blunder here, D6. Okay. Yeah. All right, so thank you very much. And now you play bishop E2. You're totally winning after bishop E2, but it's definitely a little weird. And knight takes E2 is just the indicated move, because you can just instantly take that pawn back. Let's just say it's got to be okay. All right, it's got to be okay. Bishop F5. Okay, he's trying to get a little counterplay. D3, good move. I like it. And now take on G7, take on F4. You're totally winning. Knight F3 develops. And he's talking about the missed tactical shot. Now, let me just say, there's no need for a tactic shot anymore. You're up a piece here, bud. You're up a piece, buddy. It's over. All you got to do is grind this one out. So we're not even, shouldn't be thinking about knight b5. Think takes, and just bring your coconuts out, put your king here. Easy peasy. All right. Beloved bookkeeper is here. Knight f3. Knight f6. Thank you for taking that thing. Castles. Now, basically, you gave him a free pawn by not taking on g7. All right. But you're still totally winning. Okay. Castles. G6. Okay. And now knight G5. Oh, and you write, okay, I see a tactical threat, but remember that black will also see it and try to do something. And you talk about knight D4. So again, you know, one of the cool things we have actually in the lower cohorts is we say, I'm going to raise this a little bit, is we say, we have these sparring positions where like somebody's up a piece and you have to convert it. And that's basically what this bad boy is here, right? So for example, a simple way to do the position would be knight D4, and you just say, well, if he lets me take it, I take it. And then they move it back, and then we say, oh, Jesse says pin. Jesse says pin, and the game's over, right? That's how easy it is. All right, so this is making things, you're still winning, it just makes things more complicated. All right, H3. Okay. Okay, G4. All right. Now notice, you're still winning. You're still crushing him. Rook E1, fine. Fine. All right, now we want to trade. Good. Knight E4. Fine. Now, this is a minor thing. I would have preferred king D2. I want to play rook E1. I also want to bring my king to where it control all the entrance squares. And I'm concerned with this move that it's maybe creates a tactical opportunity for your opponent. I'm not sure, but we have to check now. H6. Would this have been a bummer? It looks like it. Notice too what you're doing with this knight G5. You're trying to be fancy. You're trying to be fancy, you know, mess with the guy, finish him off, that kind of stuff. And this one, I'm realizing I think you're still going to be okay because you have like snip, snop, and luckily you have bishop G5. Okay, so you're still holding it there. But when you're up a piece with no controversy, you never even want to get to this kind of position. You want to just, you know, keep it mucho simple. All right, knight C4, H5. Weird move. I don't get it. GH. Thank you very much. GH. If knight H5, you talk about bishop H2, but just take it. You want to trade. Again, the principle, remind yourself of the principle of the gang fight. Okay? So the gang fight is, if you've got 3 extra dudes and you imagine yourself in an alleyway with 21 dudes versus 18 dudes, well, that's a good ratio, right? But imagine you start trading stuff off. You're going to slowly approach a ratio of 2 to 1, and then those dudes have no chance. 21 to 18 or whatever, maybe they got a little bit of a chance. But the more we trade off, the worse it gets. So I approve of this message. Good. Snip, snop. And now, have we blown it? All right, you spent 3 minutes here. And here, this is where the sadness is, right? This is where there's some sadness. Amazingly, he doesn't even take your business. Okay, so by the way, this happened because you were trying to be fancy. Okay, that's how it happened. Now, by the way, here's where we really have to think. Like, is it true that we're losing the piece? I'm not convinced. Okay, so here we go. H4, F6. And you talk about bishop F6, rook H5. Now, by the way, first of all, this is not equal. You are up a pawn. You can mess with the rook. And this is still going to be a hard road for black. So, but let's look. Is it true, though, that he's winning a piece? Check to the miserable rook. Now, if he goes to either of these squares, we break the pin with bishop E2. Now, what about rook over here? All right, let's go B4. Now, he goes rook A2. This is kind of scary because he's got this. But we throw in this move. Oh, he's got no squares. Oh, he can win my pawn? That's okay. And we have not lost our coconut. I don't want to lose a coconut. I don't like losing coconuts. I don't want to lose a coconut. Okay, so that was move 23. He did think for 3 minutes on it. But in general, like if you are about to give a piece back, look, and you know, you can double check me here, but that looks pretty convincing, right? That's the, yeah, rook f5, we've got this one, right? So rook here's the only one. I whack him. Yeah, it's over. Okay, so here we go. Rook g1, and then your opponent needs to play f6. Now, by the way, I think it's still a very hard road for him. Still a very hard road because I'm threatening bishop f7 followed by coconut push, as they say, you know. Okay, bishop h3. Thank you very much. Bishop h4. Okay, now as long as you don't hang the piece, I don't care too much. Rook f5. Fine. Oh, he's just helping you out. Yeah. So now bishop f5. Let's see. I think I could have done something more active with this. In this position, I only use 16 seconds. I need to notice when the position dynamically shifts into something else. With the rook trade, it has become a pawn and bishop ending with me having the extra piece. However, this move just allows black to activate their king. Okay, now what you're seeing is very important, is that I can tell he feels anxiety about finishing black off here, right? And with experience, like I think he will come back to, he will have a position like this later on and just be like, oh, oh, Kraai tells me this is winning, no problemo, right? And ultimately, right, you have we talked about the 2-to-1 force count. You've got it right here. And two bishops are evil. They're going to cover everything. So honestly, you can't really blow it here unless you hang a piece. For me, if you just ask me what to do, what would I do? I would play king d2. Why? Just to improve. That's it. The king wants to play too. Okay. Right, okay, it does feel like you don't know what to do, and so you're just making threats, kind of like that knight g5 move. You're still killing him, though. Good move, king d2. The simplest, by the way, would be c4, and I guess he's going to have to do this, and it's going to be a hard road. In fact, we're not even going to take immediately. We're going to touch that coconut first, and then we're going to... he's toast. It's crispy critters, you know. Okay, so king d2. He can still do c4. Bishop f2. King b5. Black's king is more active here. Maybe I should have got my king in there earlier. Remember in the endgame to get your king in front of the pawn. Now look, why aren't we taking his coconut? Now you could tell me, you could be like, Jesse, I was afraid of the bishop getting trapped. And I would have a certain amount of sympathy with you if you said that. But let's just carry on here. You've got an extra piece. It's hard for him. Bishop b8. And then ye old friend here. Ye old friend. This is maybe not quite as good as I wanted, honestly. This is the easiest one. Bang. And then this is also one to kind of get used to. You're like, Kraai says, if I'm up a pawn in a pawn endgame, I'm winning. And here you're up too. Okay, but you're still winning here. You haven't done anything wrong. He's just messing around. a4 is fine. a6. Okay. I like bishop g3 here. Bishop d4. My plan was to play bishop c3 check and restrict the king. Essentially trap it. Okay, b5. Snip. I think here a little bit more fun would be bishop c3. See where he goes. And... if he goes this way, we could probably shut him out. But you're still fine. You're doing fine. I don't understand this. I'm worried about my either B or C pawns being attacked. Okay. You're still winning. Check to the miserable king. bishop d4, king c1. Okay, you're still crushing him. And then c3. This is, by the way, it's maybe, but notice, you don't have to be fancy. Just play king b2. You want your king there anyway. If I was black, I would have tried king a3, even if maybe I'm getting mated, because I need to do something. I need to, mess with you. Yeah. Good move. Now, one of the weird things about king b2 here is you don't need, the king isn't entering there anymore. The king is entering over here, though. Excuse me, get rid of that one arrow. From here, it's got these squares. So you gotta keep it in the wrong. So you can come in here or you can come in here. And they won't be able to prevent that. Okay. Ooh, I don't like that. Whew. Yeah. So a general rule of thumb that you're breaking here is when you're trying to finish somebody off, you don't want to be trading pawns. Okay? Now, I want to really stress, all this stuff I'm saying is not the most important lesson to take away from this game. I will show you the most important lesson. Bam! There it is, right there. So both players thought it was just easy peasy. Here, you've got 30 seconds extra move. So you've got plenty of time to figure it out, right? Plenty of time. And you write, and let's go back, because you write here, not really clear what the plan would be. But let's look at it a little bit. I don't know what he's going to do. Let's just go here. And let's say, oh, he doesn't want to, I'm threatening bishop c5, so let's go here. And then we'll come around the mountain. I'm going to get in. See, I'm going to get in. I'm going to get in and I'm going to eat everything. Muchos frescas over there. I'm getting in. So what you can see here, and one of the reasons actually to do the two bishop mate as just a exercise, you start seeing, oh, I can bully this king all around the place. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, I get it. Sam's like, I make it look easy, and it's definitely a skill. It's definitely a skill. And one of the key things I say, especially the under 1,000, but it would apply here too, is key skill to learn is once you take a piece, chop the wood off, get to some end game where you got a force ratio like this, and then you just wipe them. You're entering. All right, c4. Now, I still think you're winning, okay? I still think you're winning, but we've made it a little harder. Check the miserable king. Good. One reason that I think you have to be winning still is there's no simple way for black to exchange your pawn. All right, bishop d1, good. Bishop e2 is fine. Bishop f3 is good too. And now this is simple blunder. So, but let's look here. Okay, so we go here, and I have a feeling you still feel like, oh, I can't get him. Let's just go here for a second. All right, definitely they want to keep the bishops on the board, right? So, I don't know, here, you can totally take your time here. Notice, this is a problem. So he's got to go here or something. I start coming in, My next goal would be to get my king here. How does he stop it? I don't know. Let's say here. No lo puedo. All right, you're going to have to go over here. Oh, I want you out of there, buddy. I don't know. Here. Bam, I want you out of there, buddy. Bam. And then what's next on the agenda? We're going to either attack it from there or there, and we are going to zugzwang that baby off the pawn. Yeah. Now, actually, let's continue, because I can imagine this being a little, I don't know, I don't want to call it challenging, but I can imagine it being maybe frustrating to look at this thing and be like, well, how do I actually get him? And actually, okay, there's a little bit of the goose on the loose over here that we want to take care of. So let's go here. He sits. We'll go here. He sits. Bishop e4. Now, very important that he goes here. Otherwise, we're threatening b5. Okay. So, are we going to be able to zug the tug? Good question. Bishop, king here. It's actually, this one's actually a little, is it difficult? It's hard for me to believe it. Well, it's maybe touch difficult. That's actually, it turns into a very interesting position. Okay. Here now, so I have to zoog him off. Now the main question for me though is, if he goes here, do I have anything more spicy than bishop e4? Because I don't want that. Oh, this is a little tricky. This one we have made our life surprisingly difficult. Okay, I see the path. Okay, we got to come in. We come in. We come in. And now we go here. So he has a choice now for me to either push him back or for him to run. If I push him back, I'm going to get in. I'm going to bring my king here. And then it's Crispy's. So here would be the question. Here, important to see that c5 no lo puedo because of bishop d3. Check to the miserable king. And now we got him. Now it's clear that we got him, right? Because now we're going to come around the mountain. Put the king on c5 first. Okay, so that is an example of how when you just got one pawn left, still winning, but that was a good one because black had what looked and felt a little bit like a fortress. Now, one thing I'll stress is if you've got that 30-second increment, it's important to see that, oh no, it's very difficult for black to defend because you can go around and around and around. You can go around and around and around and around, Okay. So, well done. We'll go back. And next up, we have Alan. Alan says, finding that tracking my time spent was making me do less chess overall, so just stop doing it. Quality of life improvement. Interesting. My sense, honestly, for my own study, is the heat map dramatically changed my business, where Two things have really been helpful, honestly. That heat map, first of all, that came first. And then I got turned on to this book called Deep Work, which I did a review on. And basically, it's just a reminder of what you already know, that you gotta not have your phone anywhere near you, internet nowhere near you when you're doing your study. And that's been very helpful. And then I'll actually, at the end of the show, I'll log my own hours. All right, here's Alan. Let's see. So this is dojo points. We'll see hours worked. Yeah, he's not logging it anymore. He's done. He's done logging it. Okay. So we had a really good podcast. It's not released yet. It might be up on the Patreon already. But we had a great podcast that we recorded yesterday with Dr. Kenneth Regan, who is a big computer science / stats guy. And it's amazing, some of the stuff that's going on. Anyways, we talked a lot about the FIDE rating boost. I was reminded of that because here you see Alan's got an incredibly high FIDE rating, but the normalized rating is lower. Okay, so he's at 1494, had a little bit of a jump there. Honestly, he could have graduated. Looks like he could have graduated a long time ago. So tactics rating, 1474. That's a great, I love it when the composite here is basically right on, right? So it's right at where he is at. Clubs. No clubs. Gims. Oh, here we go. This looks like a OTB. Do we have clocks? No clocks on this one. Let's go game review. Here's Alan. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Now, I would want to talk a little bit about this position. Bishop G5 comes to mind, for example. And yeah, it's like it has the feel of a Shevesnikov, but it's not. Now, you played E4 and Queen A4. Great. Fantastic. So let's go back for a second. What's amazing is Knight D5, it might be winning. Now, one of the things that we're going to say then is Knight E7 ain't it. And he's got to play A6 first. And then maybe he's going to live. But yeah, Knight E7, this is a nice one. Let's go look at that. Bang! Oh, baby! Okay, now Queen A4 can be met with Bishop D7. Uh-oh. So wait. Wait, we got to say again. Well, actually, it's funny here because A6, you could still play Queen A4. So this is bad news for black. This is truly bad news. So also, I see Queen E4, and then that doesn't feel good. Now, this annotation we're going to call light. There's a lot of things to talk about here. Bishop D2, King, Bishop D7, and then bang! Spent like 15 minutes. Saw Knight takes G6, 14 and a half minutes into that think. Now, when he says Knight takes G6, I don't know what he means yet. Knight takes D6 is a very impressive move, by the way. Queen B6. Knight C4. Now, if Knight C4 doesn't work, we're going to say Knight F5 is also a winning position. Queen D8. And then you talk about Rook C8, Bishop D3. Queen D8, that's not a challenging move. That isn't it. Now you gave him this check. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this check is it's certainly natural, but when you think about it, it's kind of helping black develop their coconuts, right? So Bishop D3 looks actually a little bit better. Now, black doesn't understand development. Okay, good. Simple chess. You're totally crushing this person. Yeah, good. F4 looks great here. Oh, nice move. Fine. Beautiful. The coconuts have been touched. The coconuts have been touched. So, Alan, I encourage you to do a little bit of a deeper dive. And also, to put the clock times in. But that was a good game. That was a good game. I think actually, and then this move was very interesting. The question I think for me is like, what's going on with that position? We might still be able to play this. But maybe the spice cabinet doesn't stop here. The spice continues. Okay, well done. Let's continue. Next up, we have Chahat. Chahat is, like Alan, has done a lot of work. Hit Lead Chess Rapid 2000 as well. We keep going strong towards ChessCom 2000. Okay. So let's look at Shahat here. So 1605 hasn't been logging the hours. There's some hours in there, but yeah. Well, that's actually kind of strange. So it says here, wait a second, what's happening here? Because it says he hit the hours, but then I don't see the hours logged here. Yeah, bizarre. I don't get it. That might be a... So he did it, but that I guess makes... Okay, wait, let's try this again. So hours worked. He put in that he did 43 hours on that day. So this is somebody who is coming to the dojo once in a while and then listing all of their stuff at one time. By the way, this is how, before the heat map, this is how I did it. After the heat map, I found it's very helpful just every day. Just be like, okay, Bows, what did I do? You know, what did I do? Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, let's see if we got some games. Clubs? Canada. Oh, dude, Canada's pissed at us, dude. I feel like I'm a big fan of Canada. You know, I've been to Canada, played chess many times. And now, dude, it's just like, oh, they're all pissed off at us. And I'm like, oh, man. I don't want to be pissed off at Canada. Shahat, you need some games, buddy. Bows, you need some games. All right, let's go look at his ratings real quick. So there's his ChessCom, 1855. He's got 145 points to go to his goal. And has done a little bit of the tactic stuff. This, I have a feeling he just hasn't pursued it. So this and some game annotations, Shahat, is what you need to make that goal. All right, next up we have MN, who has done muchos works over here. And MN says, after grinding for hundreds of hours last year, putting in the work every single day, I didn't graduate once. But something is clicking in my games this year, and this is now my second graduation in 25. Dojo provides a great community. I love the structured program, and especially the focus on playing and analyzing slow games. Brilliant. Yeah, 209 points of work. This is serious. All right, let's go check it out. This is the kind of grind that I have the most respect for, you know? Because, dude, when you don't make progress for a while in anything, it's so easy to just say, fuck it, you know? Fuck it. So, you know, so I like this guy a lot. All right, so 1607 has graduated twice, and there's his other graduation over here. Now, the Lee chess thing, it's a little bit hard for me to judge. I've never understood Lee chess, but also, like, anyways, I guess because he already had made it. That's a little confusing to me. His other graduation was in February of this year. Oh, I see. So he was down here, and then this was one graduation, and this was another. Okay, great. Tactics rating suggests that you're in the right spot. Beautiful that you did well in the tactics test. Okay, so clubs. European, he's everywhere. Where are you, buddy? Are you in Europe? Are you in Asia? Are you down under? Okay, so games. This is Christopher MCC. Boop. And we have a time graph. We do. Let's take a look. So this 45 plus 45 looks great, MN. Looks great. This shows that you don't have the problem of not being a thinker. As we go up the ladder, as we're doing right now, we see more and more of this kind of graph. You can tell that moves like 7 to 25 were hard decisions. Okay, so here we go. Game review. Mark this as reviewed, and here we go. Okay. It's so funny. I just want to say I've played the French forever. And in my first 20 years of the French, it was so rare that somebody took on d5. But now, like, every chump and their mom is taking on d5 because Magnus did it once, you know? Is it a bummer? It just turns into it. Honestly, it ends up being usually more spicy than the initial position suggests it would be. I'll put it that way. c4 is already a good sign. Now we're going to get a good game. I think bishop b4 is here. Nice, very nice. Good. And now rook e8's a big question. And if my memory serves, we don't want to do knight g4 because they end up getting too much spice if we take the pawn. So you play very logically with bishop g4. I think a simple move too is just de and bishop e6. This guy's pushing his luck. All right, so bishop h5. Good. Fine. I think you're doing great. You won. And that's the most ambitious move there, bishop b3, because he's saying, I don't need to deal with that pin. And is it true? I don't know. You played c6 and say, this was the first difficult decision for me. I saw that if c6, white had g4, bishop g6, and knight h4, and I thought that this line forces black to trade his light square bishop for knight. Okay. So you talk about knight e4. By the way, I think c6 is fine. I think it's fine. You're creating the blockade square. You're doing great. You're doing great. I don't like knight e4 as much, but I'm sure it's playable. Okay, let's see. g4 happens, and you play knight g4. Here we arrive at the first major question of this analysis. Was this sacrifice... This, by the way, this is a great analysis. I do not believe, personally, in white's moves. Okay? So, is knight g4... is that a good move? Probably not. Probably not. But we're going to look at it. Okay, so bishop g6, and then you say knight h4. Now, if I was going to be afraid of anything, it would be knight e5. Knight h4 doesn't scare me. You talk about bishop e4 because I just play here. No, what? He's got nothing. He's got nothing. Trades. Thank you very much. Our queen has this square. We're talking to this guy. We're talking to this guy. We're doing awesome. We're doing awesome. Now, knight e5, it's a little bit more frisky, I think. I think we're probably still going to play here. And I still like your position, but like it's a little hot. Like, for example, queen f3, with the notion that if you take twice here, I'm whacking you here. Spicy. See what I'm saying, right? Okay, so let's look at your situation, and you say that white is clearly better here. Bishop g5. Oh, lordy. Okay. Bishop g5 is a very frisky move. Something I don't understand is, why do you have compensation after king g2? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe queen f6 or something. In any case, let's look at this bishop g5. So, queen d7. And you talk about queen d6. Right. And this is great analysis. So you say queen d6, you actually have knight e4, queen g6. And whether it's, he says, roughly equal to the text, but not clearly better. Okay. Good. I like this analysis a lot. Queen d7. Let's just think about it for a second. Bishop g5 is pushing it. He's pushing it, I think. All right, queen d7, rook e8. Now, my simplistic question would be, do you have anything after queen d3? That would be my simplistic question. Maybe it's going to be similar here. All right, and now you play bishop f5 after thinking a long time. By the way, we looked at your clock graph, right? And you're absolutely right. Good. It's time to think a little bit. I do suspect your host here. Yeah. I'm not sure I understand bishop f5 because it takes the pressure off the knight. Now, one piece of bad news for us is if we do a natural move like this, I think it's helpful for them to go and do that. So my basic question would be, what about bishop h5? Intending queen g4. Now, white should still be better, but I think they're going to need to do something a little nasty, like knight h2. Maybe bishop d1, but I think they're going to have to do something nasty like this. And then at least we've played with them a little bit. We own the e file. We have a little bit of compensation. All right, so bishop f5. Snip. I don't know why we're taking there. You could have played bishop b4 without the take. Don't take a pin piece. Queen f4, probably reasonable. Knight d5, and it looks like now your opponent blundered. Boom. This was white's losing move. Yeah. Also, I strongly suspect that queen g3 is just completely fine for him as well. Right? Okay. So, good. Bishop f7. Yeah, and I guess the main point is knight d7. You have knight h3. That may be the thing he missed. Knight e2. You're totally crushing him. Snip. It's time for him to resign. Dang, good play. Murder. Okay, there's some of these moves I don't understand. However, at this point, I am certain that you were low on time. I just don't want to allow the guy to d7. Okay, but let's stop it there. You were in time pressure, and you crushed him. At the end, you say, sacrificing material based on intuition in a classical game is generally a bad decision. I don't know. There will be times where you sack, and it will be maybe something you can't calculate. I would say that what you should, more of the way to think about it is when you visualize this position, the reason to me that it's not going to work has to do with the force count. So what do I mean? Your bishop is not involved on the attack over here. Your knight isn't involved. So really you're trying to create a big old bamboozle with just a couple coconuts. You need more than a couple coconuts, man. Right? Okay. So well done. And that was MN. And we got two people left. Norzius, dude, Norzius also doing epic work. And I just want to say this is very inspiring because it is hard to get up this high. You know, it's very hard. All right, here we go. Norzius says, in this cohort, I was more focused on the training plan. Definitely paid off. I enjoy doing program mates and studying Checkmate Patterns manual on Chessable. Silman's How to Reassess Your Chess improved my positional understanding. Studying Tall's games showed me how wild that man was. I didn't really enjoy Tactics from Scratch, but I'm yet to finish this book. Capablanca's Best Endings. It's just an amazing book. Especially enjoy this format of game collection with annotations. Jesse, I would like you to look at my most recent game against Brahmanabam. That's what we will do. All right, here we go. Oh, look at that heat map. Can we just pause for a second? Let's click that out. Look at this bad boy heat map. Look at that thing. So basically from June, Norzius has just been cranking it out. Yeah. And one of the things he said that I really like is he said from this time, which he means the graduation, he's been focused more on the training plan, and you can see it. So here he graduated the end of last year, and then it's all been, or mostly training plan, whereas you can see here, dude was doing all kinds of other things, right? Okay, so, brilliant. Okay, back. Let's just take a look. He's got a tactics rating of 1768, totally appropriate to where dude is. Okay, brilliant heat map. Oh, it's really nice. Okay, so clubs. Kazakhstan. Oh, right, this is the famous Norzius, of course. Alex, 19-year-old from Kazakhstan. And I think I asked him, I was like, dude, can you create a Kazakhstan dojo? And he did it. Unfortunately, it's a party of one so far. I would love to see the Kazakhstan dojo grow. You know? That would be a life goal for me, to get some people in the Kazakhstan dojo. All right, is my stream frozen a little bit? Maybe a touch. Okay, we're going to go over here. Here's Brahmanabam. You know, someday when the world cools off and I don't have little children to deal with, I'm going to go on a chess adventure to Kazakhstan, dude. I'd have to go in the summer. I'd have to go in the summer. All right, here we go. Do we have a time graph? We do. And here we go. Simple thing. This person we're playing he's not thinking. Jesse, I've been annotating my games in Russian, but I made a translation for this one since we'll be featured on the grad show. Great. Okay. My chess Russian, I would say I'm rated about 400. Like I can look at Pieshki. I got that one, you know. Yeah. Move. I got move. But a lot of other words, but yeah, my rating, I don't even know if 300 is even appropriate. I can kind of, sort of spell it, you know, sound it out. All right, let's go. So we're going to go game review. So, good. Oh, here we go. Dojo repertoire, H6. And it's funny now that we call H5 the main line. I feel like both moves make a lot of sense. It's just this G4 E6 thing that we have in the Dojo aggressive repertoire that we have both on our site and in the at Chessable, is that E6 is very hard to deal with. All right, here we go. Boom. Good. Boom, boom, boom. And I think he's already in deep troubles. So, knight F3. He's in deep already. He's in real deep. My sense, by the way, is that if I remember right, like the way to play this, first of all, is you gotta induce this little coconut. And then here you gotta play here. And this position's very spicy. And I'm gonna show you guys a move that the computer taught me. And when the computer first did it, I was like, screw you, computer. But I've learned to appreciate the power of this move, and that is F4. Of course, it doesn't feel right, because our development is seemingly slow. But the big point is we stop e5 and we get ready for this bad boy. And it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I talk a little bit about that in the course. Okay, so bishop h7. You're killing him. Good move. That ain't it. Queen g6. Now, is knight e5 even better? I mean, it's already crispy critters. This person you're playing didn't think at all. Check to the miserable queen. All right, now, knight h8. One thing that I would be interested in is, did you see this when you played queen g6 check? Because this to me is like the line to consider when you play queen g6 check. Otherwise, like, is this just end of the ball game? To me, that looks like end of the ball game. That looks like, oh no. Oh no, big fatty knight he's here to stay. Okay, so bishop d2, queen b6, knight takes h8. Now, I want to stress here that you are positionally winning with the move knight c3. Okay, so knight c3, you're just totally smoking him. And now we got this fascinating position. Castles. Dude must take, I guess. And now you talk about g5, and it gets a little complicated after queen d4. And you write knight c3, queen b2. Good. And now g5. But here the knight and rook joined the party with tempo. And d4 is not hanging. Good. Okay. Interesting. He plays this instantly. To me, that would be like something to talk about. That's something to talk about, I feel. Okay, so the issue for Mr. Tissue is queen e8 is the problem. Well, honestly, maybe we could call ourselves a little lucky that we got this bad boy over here. Now, one thing that black should have considered, and they didn't consider at all, they didn't use any time in this game, was could they have played e takes f6? Now, I'm very uncertain about this, but the point would be, is if you go here, then I get a draw. That's the point. Okay. And they should definitely consider, both players need to consider this move here. If you tap me, I'm going to just go here, and I still have that queen g4 thing. So that looks like a big problem for us, ef6. All right, king d7. Bishop c3 looks very strong. fg7. And bishop g7. Now it looks like you're winning. One problem for black, of course, is that their knight isn't working. It's not going to work for a while. And now knight f7. And you talk about rook e1. Right. So here we go. We got tricked here. And you spent 2 minutes on this move, knight f7. And your opponent finds a great resource, queen f6. And now, and now, oh no. Oh, okay. Life is no longer simple. Or is it? Maybe it's simple. Let's just look at the position you get in the game and ask ourselves, what do we feel? An interesting endgame arises, you write, where white has an extra piece, but black has 4 extra pawns. In terms of pawn structure, it's worth noting the double pawns on the e-file for black and the fact that all of white's pawns are isolated. Okay. The theme of today's show, High Y, has been, wrong scene, Jesse says. Norzia said. I got the right scene now, though, right? Please tell me. Please tell me I haven't blown it. It looks like the scene's correct, Mundo. Norzia is glad to have you in chat here. Okay, so I didn't look at the other possibilities after Queen F6, but I'm going to say that this one looks winning to me. And the main reason is it's going to take forever to black to do anything, and we have this juicy E5 post for our guys. So Rook G5 already looks poor. Now, by the way, this kind of Rook G5 move, dude is just not thinking at all. So you write about Knight C5, and he's got to, let's just say it, dude must fix the knight. And the challenging move, I think, is probably to put some kind of pressure on the E5 square, like organize a Knight D7 or something. So time is always important, and Rook G5 is just wasting time. Good move. Check. He's not doing anything over there. Now, King G3. The rook might get hosed, honestly. All right, here he comes, Knight B4. All right, here we go. Well, I'm going to admit it's getting pretty spicy. Knight D2. Knight F3. I might want to go back because this feels like it's more spicy than it needed to be. And now he blows it with C5, and you talk about Knight A3. I'm a little concerned with Knight E3. Okay, wait. Wait, now it's truly complicated. Especially after this chump Rook G5 move. I feel like, no, he's not allowed to even play with us anymore. But let me just see. Maybe it's really still pretty complicated. Okay, so here we go. F4, Knight B4. Okay, next obvious question. If we had played C3 and dude had taken, is the knight actually coming out? No, right? Now, maybe Knight D3 scared you, but here we're going to first say that this is crushing. I have Rook A1 coming, forget about it. So Knight D3. It is annoying. I don't want to lie about that. But let's just say I kick it. And I have very simple intentions. I want to play Knight D2 and stuff. Maybe he should play E5, but that is going to give my rook access. Also, he has to be concerned with E5, King G4, and then I take it. Okay, so that looks reasonable. Okay, so definitely something to look at. And here Knight E3 looks complicated to me. That's a blunder. Why is it happening, by the way? He's moving too fast. This is super complicated. Here I thought that including this move would not be redundant at all. Moreover, this move gives black the opportunity to go wrong, which my opponent did. Yeah, he's not thinking. He's not thinking. And you say Rook F5, Rook C5, and you call that unclear. I would say you're winning this thing. You've got the dark squares. How is he going to really mess with you? Right? Like, I don't know, Knight C6. And now you have I was going to call it a gentle choice, but a nice choice between like knight d4, which you have to check if rook e5 messes with you. Maybe it does. And just moving the bishop somewhere, right? Looks great because you got, as long as you can hold this pawn, I don't think he can hold this thing. You know, we're coming in. What we talked about at the very beginning of the endgame. You're coming in, buddy. You're going to talk to him. All right. So knight d3, he blows it. And now he's completely toast. Yeah. Right. And this one's good. We had this whole discussion about the conversion. And here, as long as we're a little careful here, we're going to be fine. b6 is just poor. What's the move? He's got to try king c6. It's not even a question. Right? So maybe he was afraid of this, but then we'll go d4, and then if takes. I don't know if this, I'm not saying this is the best move. I'm just showing you an example of how black can play. So dude plays b6 in 12 seconds. 12 seconds. What are you doing, buddy? You got to activate your king bows. Come on now. This one, I'm wondering, maybe it's a little spicy. I'm thinking maybe king f4. So, no, that's not clear either because I still play d4 and king over. Or, it's hot. Maybe actually on d4 I have rook a3 and then king over. I really want to put my king there. This guy's going nowhere, right? I need to stabilize my position and then get him. So should be winning. A little hot. This is horrendous. Good move. I like your notes. That's got to be correct. Good. He's just losing time. What are you doing? Now it's easy. Simple chess. This chump. This chump, what is he doing? I think rook e6 is fine. I would have rather played king d4. You're killing him. What am I saying? Passed pawns must be pushed, and then he should give up. Okay, that was great, Norzius. I hope we find someone else in Kazakhstan for you to train with. Another person in the Kazakhstan dojo. But you're crushing it, man. This is really cool. I wish I was 19 again, you know? I think also, just for chess-wise, I think Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, fantastic place for chess right now. Really cool. Okay, so I think we have one more. Hearts of Fire. Hearts of Fire says, I'm just starting out in the program, and while I originally chose to use my ChessCom rating, I'm going to switch to my USCF as encouragement to play more OTB. No need to review my profile. See you at 1900. Okay, fair enough.